Hey, Sub here. Wanted to touch base real quick about AI and kind of what Call of Duty might be doing with AI in images. So I think everybody's familiar of the six-fingered zombie Santa. That's a phrase I don't think I'd ever thought I'd say. And the big complaint is that we're using AI to just generate these assets for sale without second thought into it. And so I took a look at it over the last few days, and I think AI is being used on that, but I don't think AI made Santa. I think Santa was hand drawn. And I want to look at the image and I want to talk about why that would be. And specifically, I want to look at what AI is used for in images like this and why they do it. Now, for anybody who doesn't know, when I'm not here talking about Call of Duty, I actually spend my job right now is I train AI. I do AI training, model training. So I'm used to dealing with the kind of stuff that AI comes up with, which sometimes is spot on and fantastic, and a lot of times is wild. All right. So right now we're looking at Zombie Santa, and the big complaint is why would they create? How can they bother even shipping something that has five fingers or six fingers? Right. It's supposed to be a zombie human, so it should have five fingers, right? We all have, most of us have five fingers. Um, the reality is, I don't think that's what this is. This is actually, I think, a five fingered zombie Santa, but the skin off that last finger is peeling off. So if you look, we're going to look closely at it. If you look here, right, you have one, two, three, four, five, six possible fingers, right? I want to draw your attention real quick to the color. If you look, the hand is a green color, the face is a green color. Okay. Zombies Santa's skin is green. And I want to draw your attention to the coloration on these fingers. So specifically, the thumb is green. This is green here, green, right? This is green. This is green. This is red. The coloration of this part of this finger, this digit here, doesn't match the other five. This, the fact that this one does, kind of indicates that something is different going on here. And if you look closely, you can kind of see the way the skin bends and it tears here. What we're looking at is not a six-fingered zombie Santa. What we're actually looking at is five fingers and the skin of the fifth finger peeling off. That's what's going on here. Now, you can say, well, how can you tell? Because they do it on both hands. And this is something that everybody skipped, which I think is important. Let's look at this other hand here. Let's go right here. Now, this is a weird one. If you look, what kind of hand is this? What the heck is that? Right? But the same thing is going on here. If you think this is a thumb, the bones of a thumb, the rest of it is, broken off at the digit, right? You look at this is bone, this is bone, this is the knuckle of the thumb. Here's the skin of the thumb, and you can see it's still connected to the rest of the hand. And then you have, the rest of the hand over here. That makes a lot of sense based on what you're seeing. I'm not going to say whether it's done well or not, but this makes it look a lot more believable that this is also the skin peeling off the hand. So they're doing it on both hands. And I think that's the indication that this is not a mistake. This wasn't done by error. Okay. This is actually supposed to be something. And because it's so out of focus, because it's, in the forefront, and so the focal plane is on the face of zombie Santa. Let's look at the other image here. Because the focal plane is on the face of the zombie, the detail and what's going on is lost on the hand. So we don't see the hand clear enough to really understand that. It's very, very out of focus, which is an artistic choice. And it's one that's common in photography, so I don't have a problem with it. It's not like they did something random for this. So at the end of the day, I think when you look at Zombie Santa here, I think it's a standard five-fingered zombie. It's just the skin is peeling off, which is not uncommon for zombies. That is like the motif of zombies. So I think at the end of the day, this finger thing is not a product of bad AI. This is in fact just by design. Now, that being said, it doesn't mean that this image is off the hook for AI. If you look at the way things like blood splatter, okay, some of these blood splatter effects, they're almost certainly added on after the fact. And you look up here, that's really good example of the blood up here. This is much more similar to the blood splatter effect that we get in game. Like we literally get this in game. And when you do that, when you have that effect in game, and you can see some other area, you can see it over here as well. Okay. We know it's generated digitally, right? And this is the sort of thing that AI is really good at doing. It's really good at adding layers to an image you've created. It's really good at editing something you've written. AI works best in its current state when you give it something concrete and ask to modify it versus when you ask it to create something from scratch. That's where AI gets really confused. So if we're going to look at this whole system, this whole image, the most likely thing that's going on here is that AI was used to modify and improve five-fingered skin peeling Santa versus used to procedurally generate the image from scratch. I'm not saying it's not possible. I'm just saying there's a lot of aspects of this that are probably hand done, and layered over that are other aspects that look AI, that look generated. And so this is probably where most art houses live right now, in a combination of hand-drawn assets and AI embellishment. And you can say it's good or bad. That's not an argument we're trying to make here. I'm trying to understand and look at the image and draw a conclusion based on what's in front of me and what I'm familiar with and what I see. And so I think what we're dealing with here is again a combination of assets, right? Hand-drawn zombie Santa with skin peeling off his fingers and procedurally generated AI effects layered over top of it. And so this is something that if you're familiar with Photoshop and where some of these things are right now, it's going to be more common. We're going to see that. I guarantee we see you're familiar with that in a lot of different narratives, not just in Call of Duty. And it's probably, this sort of effect where someone generates a primary base, like a foundation, and then uses AI to decorate it to make it a little more impactful or add layers to it. That, that is something that I can definitely see being done in level design, in arts and other assets. And so I think it's important for us to keep in mind when we look at what, images like this, we have to look at it a little more closely, right? Before we start pointing our fingers and saying, oh, look, they're using AI. Because I don't think that's necessarily true to generate the image. But I think it's definitely true to update it and kind of keep it going and embellish it. So Zombie Santa as an AI asset, partially debunked, I think. Definitely Six Finger Santa as an AI fault is not correct. But are they using AI in the image? Probably. So that's what I got for you today. Wanted to take a look at that and break that down. You got any questions? Disagree? Drop it in the comments. I'll look forward to that, and I'll catch you on the next one.